Oh my goodness. You guys, Melody Shari just dropped some absolutely shocking truths about Chris and Nell Fletcher, and trust me, your jaw is going to hit the floor when you hear what she had to say. From hidden secrets to completely jaw-dropping revelations, this drama is unfolding right before our eyes. What really went down, and why is everyone talking about it? Buckle up, because we're diving deep into the scandal that has social media absolutely buzzing right now. If you've been keeping up with all the drama surrounding Love and Marriage Huntsville, then you already know that Melody Shari never holds back when it comes to speaking her truth. But this time, she's spilling all the tea on Chris and Nell Fletcher, and these revelations are nothing short of explosive. What's really happening behind the scenes? And why are people suddenly questioning their relationship with Melody? In this video, we're breaking down everything, from the allegations to all those hidden details you might have missed. Was there betrayal, business drama, or something even deeper? Stick around, because we've got receipts, reactions, and all the latest updates on this absolutely messy situation. Before we dive into these explosive allegations, let's rewind a bit and understand the connection between Melody Shari and Chris and Nell Fletcher. Because trust me, this drama didn't just come out of nowhere. For those who may not know, Chris Fletcher and his wife Nell have been longtime figures in Love and Marriage Huntsville's social circle. Chris, a well-known real estate professional, has had business dealings with Martell, Melody's ex-husband. Throughout the seasons, he's been caught in the middle of their divorce drama, often trying to play peacemaker. But here's where things get interesting. Melody and Chris weren't just casual acquaintances, they had mutual respect, and at one point it seemed like Chris was one of the few people in the LAMH circle who genuinely had Melody's back after her messy split from Martell. He even tried to connect her with real estate opportunities post-divorce. Meanwhile, his wife Nell was seen supporting Melody at various events, giving the impression that there was absolutely no bad blood between them. But was that all just for show? Because behind the scenes, it looks like tensions have been brewing for a while, and now Melody is finally letting the world know that everything was not as it seemed. So what went wrong, and why is Melody suddenly speaking out now? Stay tuned, because we're about to break down what led to this shocking fallout. At first glance, the relationship between Melody Shari and the Fletchers seemed cordial, even friendly. Chris Fletcher had been known to work with Martell in real estate, and despite Melody's turbulent divorce, it appeared that Chris remained on good terms with both parties. His wife, Nell Fletcher, was also present at various events where Melody was involved, creating the impression that there was no tension between them. However, in the world of reality television, what we see on camera is often just a fraction of the full story. Behind the scenes, cracks had been forming for quite some time. While Chris and Martell's professional relationship was public knowledge, many people started to question where his true loyalties lay. Melody had gone through a highly publicized and painful divorce, with accusations of infidelity and deception surrounding Martell. Many of her close friends had distanced themselves from Martell, choosing to support Melody as she worked to rebuild her life. Chris and Nell, however, seemed to straddle the fence, maintaining their connection with both sides. For Melody, this wasn't just about personal feelings, it was about loyalty and trust. She had been open about the pain and betrayal she experienced during her marriage, and anyone who chose to stay close to Martell after everything he had done naturally raised red flags from her perspective. If someone claimed to support her but continued to align themselves with the man who had humiliated and disrespected her, how genuine was that support? Then came the first real sign that something was wrong. Melody started to subtly distance herself from Chris and Nell in public. Where she once openly interacted with them, she now seemed more reserved, less eager to engage. It wasn't long before fans picked up on the shift in dynamic. In interviews and social media interactions, Melody's tone when discussing the Fletchers had changed. She no longer spoke about them with the same warmth and familiarity. If anything, there was a noticeable sense of hesitation, as if she was holding back from saying something she really wanted to say. People speculated that perhaps Melody was simply trying to move forward with her life and didn't want to be involved in any more unnecessary drama. However, those closest to the situation knew that this wasn't just about moving on. Something had happened behind closed doors that had caused a major rift. Things took a more serious turn when Melody began making cryptic comments in interviews and on social media. She spoke about people who pretended to be supportive but were really operating with ulterior motives. She mentioned feeling let down by individuals she once trusted. Although she didn't name names at first, it didn't take long for fans to connect the dots and suspect that she was referring to Chris and Nell Fletcher. The tension reached a boiling point when Melody finally decided to break her silence and publicly address what had been going on. In a shocking revelation, revelation, she aired out details that left fans stunned and questioning everything they thought they knew about the Fletchers. For weeks, speculation had been swirling about the tension between Melody Shari and the Fletchers. Fans noticed the shift, the coldness, the subtle shade in interviews. But while the internet was busy piecing together clues, Melody was holding on to a truth that she had not yet revealed, and when she finally decided to air it out, she did so with receipts. The moment that changed everything happened during one of Melody's candid live sessions on social media. If you've been following her for a while, you know that she doesn't shy away from addressing the truth head-on. Whether it's about her divorce, her experiences on Love and Marriage Huntsville, or the people she once considered allies, Melody has made it clear that she refuses to sugarcoat reality. And when she started talking about people who had been fake, people who had played both sides, and people who had engaged in behind-the-scenes betrayal, fans knew something big was coming. At first, she spoke generally, not naming names, but making it clear that she had been deeply disappointed by people she once trusted. She described how certain individuals had smiled in her face, pretending to be on her side, and then turned around and engaged in behaviors that contradicted their supposed loyalty. But as the conversation continued, she dropped details that made it impossible not to connect the dots. One of the biggest bombshells came when Melody suggested that Chris Fletcher had played a role in fueling the drama between her and Martell Holt. Now, this is where things get really messy. Chris was known to have worked with Martell in real estate, and many assumed that their relationship was strictly business. However, Melody hinted that there was more to the story. She suggested that Chris had been feeding information to Martell, information that was later used against her. If this was true, it would explain why she had suddenly begun to distance herself from Chris despite their previous working relationship. This allegation set social media ablaze. Fans immediately began dissecting past episodes, looking for moments that could support Melody's claim. And what they found was interesting. Throughout the seasons, there had been multiple instances where Chris appeared to be trying to mediate between Melody and Martell. While some believed he was acting in good faith, others began to question whether he had been playing both sides all along. But it wasn't just Chris who was implicated in Melody's revelations. She also made it clear that Nell Fletcher was not as supportive as she had seemed. In fact, Melody suggested that Nell had been involved in conversations where she had spoken negatively about her, conversations that eventually made their way back to Melody. To make matters worse, there were claims that Nell had tried to maintain a public image of supporting Melody while privately aligning with Martell and others who had been critical of her. This revelation was particularly shocking because Nell had been perceived as one of the few women in Melody's circle who truly had her back. The moment Melody Shari decided to speak out, the internet erupted. Social media platforms were flooded with reactions, debates, and theories about the true nature of her fallout with Chris and Nell Fletcher. Fans of Love and Marriage Huntsville wasted no time dissecting Melody's words, revisiting past episodes, and analyzing interactions that suddenly seemed more suspicious in hindsight. But the real question on everyone's mind was, how did Chris and Nell react to these shocking allegations? At first, there was silence. Despite the storm brewing online, the Fletchers did not immediately address Melody's claims. This silence only fueled the speculation. Many believed that if the allegations were completely false, Chris and Nell would have quickly come forward to defend themselves. Instead, they chose to remain quiet, allowing the controversy to spiral out of control. Some took this as a sign of guilt, while others believed they were taking time to craft a careful response. In the meantime, fans took it upon themselves to dig deeper. Old clips and interviews resurfaced, and what people found only added more fuel to the fire. Then, after days of mounting pressure, Chris Fletcher finally broke his silence. In a brief statement, he denied any wrongdoing, claiming that his intentions had always been to remain neutral and supportive of both Melody and Martell. He insisted that he had never fed information to Martell or done anything to betray Melody's trust. However, his statement left many questions unanswered. He did not directly address some of Melody's more specific accusations, nor did he explain why she would feel so strongly about his supposed disloyalty. Nell Fletcher, on the other hand, was far less diplomatic in her response. While she did not directly attack Melody, she made it clear that she felt blindsided by the allegations. In a now-deleted social media post, she expressed disappointment that their private issues had been brought to the public in such a dramatic way. She suggested that Melody's claims were exaggerated and that their relationship had been more more complicated than what was being portrayed online. But if Nell thought deleting the post would make the controversy go away, she was sorely mistaken. Screenshots of her message quickly spread, and people began analyzing every word. Some felt that her response was defensive and avoided addressing the real issue, while others saw it as an attempt to subtly call out Melody for airing their dirty laundry. Whether people believed her or not, Melody had made it clear that she would not tolerate fake friendships or disloyalty from anyone, even those who had once been in her inner circle. So where does this leave Melody, Chris, and Nell now? Is there any hope for reconciliation, or has this feud permanently severed their relationship? And most importantly, will Melody reveal even more shocking details in the future? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, this drama is far from over. It's far from over.